Hey everybody, I promised I'd make a video answering a question someone had. I'm going to see if I can do that. It's been a very, very long day. It's been really cold and wet. I'm up here in the Pacific Northwest. So if I say something wrong, or if you think you don't misunderstand me, please ask, because I'm doing my best. I wouldn't even be making this if I hadn't promised it, because it's just been that kind of a day. Well, a little bit about me. I'm the internal guy, but I really like to focus on external movement. The external aspect of how the body moves in the internal martial arts. I kind of came into that focus. I was hurt really bad in 2007. And it took me about 2 years to finish up on my physical rehab, get my body moving. I'm still dealing with some of the after effects, still trying to get back in shape. I've had so many broken bones and surgeries that I can honestly say the external movements of the internal arts, or the way that they move their muscles and tendons and the way the body moves, it's honestly given me the ability to walk normally. Doctors didn't really give me a lot of options. They didn't think I had a lot of chance when I got hurt to move normally because of how bad it was. Anyways, that's kind of where I come from. That's also where I'm at on my journey. So when I do videos like this, that's what I talk about. I talk about the physical movements, the external parts of it. I really don't get too much into the energy aspect, mostly because it's very difficult, at least for me, to feel that I've done a good job teaching through video. I can't really see how people are moving. I don't know if I can answer questions correctly. I don't want to send someone off on the wrong path by saying, oh, no, that's the wrong feeling. You don't want to have that when they're just feeling what I've told them to feel in a little different way. So that's kind of where I'm coming from for this. So please bear in mind, this is just the shell, the external shell of the internal martial arts. I believe it's just as important as the energy aspect. And I think I can show you some pretty neat little comparisons or correlations between all three of the main, the sister arts, Xingyi, Bagua, and Tai Chi. And I can also compare it a little bit to some of the external martial arts I've studied and show it to you. So anyways, long story, let's get going on this. The question was a comment I made in my Bung Chuan video of compression and then expansion. And I've personally found that in the two internal arts that I've studied, Xingyi and Bagua, and I've seen it tons of times in Tai Chi. So I know it's there, but I personally can't speak for Tai Chi. So I'm just going to speak for what I can do personally, and then I'll send you some people who do the compression and expansion in their Tai Chi, and you can watch them do it in their video. When I watch people do videos, you can't tell if someone has chi power through watching a video. It's impossible. It's something that's internal. It's the energy inside your body. I don't believe it's possible to tell that. So I don't judge an internal video based on whether I think that he can throw a fireball out of his hands and kill someone a mile and a half away. Obviously, you can't do that, but I look at how the body moves as a unit. And I found through going through the external arts and the internal arts, that's the biggest difference in how they move. The external arts, they are very good at what they do. So I don't want to come across that I'm knocking them at all. They just do something differently than the way we do it, the way I do it. So if we're talking about like a bow stance and a hit from karate, you'd see something here and there. They chamber and they move separately. So you don't see the push coming from the back leg, driving the hip, which turns the shoulder, which turns the fist. That integrated body movement is really the hallmark. I think I mentioned that before. It's really what you see in the internal arts. Anyways, going back to the compression and expansion, that's really part of it. Because to throw a strike, you have to wind up, right? Obviously. you have to wind up somehow. And so external arts, even boxing, things like that, they'll pull back and they'll hit. And that's great. They hit massively hard. They put out tons of power. That's fantastic. Internal arts, if you watch them, they do their coiling as they're moving. So what I talked about with that Bong Chuan video is that, say, well, we've hit, we're here. This starts to coil up. It creates tension in the body. And so, getting a little unstable. So here, and so we create this tension, and then once we've moved past our midpoint, it's the same as that drawing a bow and releasing it analogy that we hear all the time in the internal arts. Okay? We're creating this tension, and then we simply let it go. So, that's the kind of compression I'm talking about. All the elements have it. Okay? And you might see it the way some people do Pichuan, where you hear this is a compression or a contraction right here. Here. And this is where I can expand. Now, you can also look at it that this, when I move into the next step, this here is compression. I'm closing up, and then I expand. There. So those are a couple places you can see it, but when you're watching the movement, you kind of get that little flow movement. It's almost a surging type of power, and you see it like Lo Deshou. When he does Xing Yi, it's very much, and I don't know if I can do it justice, but he does it exceedingly well that he'll contract and then expand. So anyways, that was Pichuan. Zhuan, we're here, and you see I will contract and then explode out of it. As you can kind of guess, this middle point where my feet are passing each other here, that's usually where the contraction point is at. So, I'm just going to kind of go through the elements, and then I'll kind of show how an external art would do the same sort of punch. Okay? So we've done Bong Chuan. Pao Chuan, it's here, and it's closing and doing that sort of movement. So here we'll see that compression and then popping out of it, or creating this tension and exploding. Coach Sudan Jeffers actually explained that to me very, very well. He said this is like a grenade. You're compacting all of your energy, your force, and then you explode outwards. Heng Chuan, very, very similar. We're here. Here's my middle point. You see how my body's starting to move, my shoulders, everything's coming together. And it's that type of twisting, tension creating that gives the internal arts their power. Now, if you notice on all of these, when I hit, it wasn't a big muscly punch. Again, and I think I mentioned it, but to say it again because it's so important, when we coil, we create tension and release it. Get away from there. So this punch actually isn't shoved out by my biceps and my shoulders. I'm creating this large amount of tension in my body and then letting it expand. Okay? So this, like I said, this isn't a perfect explanation. I'm doing my best after a long day. Anyway, so I said I would compare that to, say, an external style. Okay? External, again, nothing wrong with it. I don't ever want to insult anybody for the style that they find appealing. It's totally fine. But say an external style, they'll step, and then they'll hit. And they can hit pretty darn hard doing that. That's fine. But it's not what you see in the internal arts. You see, and regardless of whatever people think, that however the feet have to be aligned, doesn't matter to me. That's Xing Yi. So if we look at the single palm change in Bagua, we see the same thing. So we step, and see we've created a lot of tension right here, and now we're unwinding. Okay? All of these movements, so if here's my circle, I'm walking this way, doing tiger, this way, tension, and then I release it. Okay? You always see it. Any good internal movement, if you look, you'll see this during their movement, as they're stepping, their body will contract and then expand, and it'll hit. So those are the two, Xingyi and Bagua. If you want to see it done in Tai Chi, you look up Adam Kolfoyd, very good guy, out of the Midwest. And there's Ray Abeda. Hope I said the last name right. He's down in Texas. They're both great guys. But if you watch their demos, you'll see them when they do moves that I don't even know the name of it, but this one popped out in my head. When they're here, you see how they're contracting, and they'll expand out of it. See, I don't even know the name. That's how little I know about Tai Chi. That's kind of my next study I'm going to try and pick up. But watch, anytime they do these movements, they contract and they'll expand out. They'll create this internal body tension and then they'll release it. And again, it isn't just tighten, release. It's tighten, move through the tension, and then the whole body will drive the strike forward, or whatever you happen to be doing. But like I said with the elements, I'm creating this tension here, moving, and then stepping through. And you'll see the back foot pushes, the hip, everything drives at the same time coming out of that contraction. So anyways, I hope that helps. I hope I haven't been babbling on too much. If you have any more questions, please let me know, and I'll try within a day or two to get a video up. Doing my best to explain it. But anyways, thank you very much. Have a great night. Bye.